A new Hermes version was just released, and this version, the 0.9.0, comes with a dashboard that can help you see some details and configure the details easily in there. We're gonna see it. So this is the version. For the one that doesn't know Hermes, it's an OpenClaw alternative that it's quite popular right now. It has 80,000 stars, and this version, it brings the local web dashboard that can be started and can be used. We're going to see the best options for this, and besides this you have like other things in here that they released, like you can run this behind the proxy. It has backup and import if you want to move this between different VPS servers, because like this I have this installed with a VPS server. It has some debug commands right now, and I've created an article in here with all the details that will help you set this thing up. But first we're gonna see the dashboard. So basically right now I have the dashboard running over my subdomain hermes.ai.bitdoze. This is secured with an SSL certificate, and it has basic authentication with a user and password. So no one can access this without a user and password. Also it has the firewall active, and it can be only accessed from certain IP addresses that I am allowing. And we're gonna see this because I've put it everything into an article, and we're gonna see the deployment options in there and how you can access it if you're running this on a VPS. If you're running this locally, you're just starting it. So right now this is the dashboard in here. Let me make this thing bigger, and in here you have the status. And in here you'll have the version with the gateway with active sessions, right now API server, and the recent sessions in here. Most of them are from the CLI because we're gonna see the sessions in here. And in here you see that I have asked him to help me configure everything in here with the Caddy web server and basic authentication, and write the article also for me that will help you set this thing up and understand how this is working. In here then you will have the analytics, and in here you have the status per days with the token used, which is pretty nice. In here you see that you have the sessions, you have the models with the tokens that are used. In here you will have access to the logs directly, so you can go and check the agent. You have the errors log in here that you can check. You have the gateway logs, yeah, and all of these components in here. You have the log level, you have the components. In here you'll have the cron job, so basically you'll have access to see the cron jobs. You can pause this, trigger it, delete it, and you can add the options in here to go and add a new job in here. Enable the schedule, choose the delivery to Meta, Telegram, Discord. I have this link with Discord. In here you will have all the skills that are currently configured. In here you have access to the skills. Right now you see that these are in folders. These are my own skills that I have created to help me work with different projects with Docker deploy, to see what is here and help me deploy like Docker application directly. In the config part, you'll have the configuration settings where you can put the models and other things like that. Set up the time zone, you have the agent, you have the terminal where to run. Right now it's local, but you can choose from Docker, SSH, and other things. The timeout settings, so basically what you can configure in the config file, you can go and put it directly in here with the help of this UI. You can change, for instance, right now the display of this, the display with full minimal, and yeah, all the configurations that you see in there. You have the options to change the skin and so on. Delegation, to add different model. You have the memory in here. I have configured Honcho for this because it's offering $100 for free. Compression, security, you have the browser to put the voice details in here. You have the options to choose the logging level. Discord, again in here you have the Discord configuration, the auxiliary settings. In the keys you have the key options with the authentication model. So right now I have the nose portal because it's offering 2 weeks free with Xiaomi Mimo V2 Pro. You can configure different providers also and add fallback things. You have the API keys. I'm using the browser in here, and yeah, you have the messaging platforms with Discord and other things and the agent setting. So yeah, basically this is the UI. It provides you access to all the things that Hermes has quite easily, and to deploy this you have some options. So in here I've created a detailed article. So to run it you will have these options. So let me open this right now, and in here I have the UI. So to start the UI, in case you are running this thing locally, you have the options to go and choose the Hermes dashboard only, and this will tie it to your local installation only, so no one will have access to this by default. But yeah, in case you are not running Hermes directly on the Mac Mini or the VM, you will not have access to this, but you can access it if you want with port forwarding, for instance. And in here you see that you have these options to run it with SSH-L. You put the port, you put the local IP address, you put the default port for Hermes, and you put the username and your VPS address, and then you can open this with the HTTP with localhost and the port. So this is the first option if you don't want to add it to a subdomain, and in case you want to start it like from time to time to check the things that are in there. And then to bind it externally, you can run this with the host like this. I have put it the 0000 to be accessed externally, and you can also choose a different port if you want. Like you can put like this minus port, and the port it will start it with the port. And right now, for instance, if you're gonna start it like this you're gonna see it will bind it to the 000 address, so it can be available to everyone in here. And again, you need to be careful because this will open the port to be accessible through the IP address of the server. So yeah, again, you need to be careful for this. And the best option, I think, it will be just to run it with the default thing in there to bind it only locally. But again, this will not allow you the options to see it externally. You need to go and configure things in there like this. And yeah, I mean, right now what I have did to run it externally, in here I have run it like this, and I've installed the Caddy web server in there, and I've put it behind the proxy. And what I did after installing Caddy into a VPS server, I've just enabled the password with a user with basic authentication. So to do this, you just need to set a password with the hash password in here. This is the command. And then in case you are running this in Docker, you have these options to run it with Docker exec. And then in here, when you set up your Caddy config file, you will have the options to add this basic authentication with the username and the hashed password in here. And basically this will go and start this with the password. We're gonna see this. And yeah, in here I've placed the reverse proxy, and this is in Docker like this. So it has access to the IP address of this. And right now you have some command in here to test it. So without a user and password, it should provide 401. With a user and password in here, it should go. And basically this dashboard will only run when you are running this command, and you have the options to serve it with the help of a service file. I've put the details in here. So basically if you want to run this permanently, you can go and do that easily like this. You have the configuration file that you just need to create it, and this will create a service for you. Just modify the user in here, and yeah, it should be enough. And then you just go and run the systemctl with daemon reload with enable start and status for this, and to check the logs you have the details in here. And yeah, I mean, these are the details in here. I explained the security risk on this. You need to enable SSL certificates. Caddy does that by default, that's why I've chosen it. It's easy to use, and you just deploy it in Docker, and that's it. And yeah, in here you'll see that you have basic authentication, and this it will protect the dashboard for you in case you want to see it externally. Another option is to enable the firewall, and in here you can just go and only allow certain IP addresses. Like if you are using this to access it from your home, you can put your public IP address in here. You have the options to also block this at Caddy level with blocked, and block everything besides the IP address. So you have these layers of security that you can enable in there. And yeah, I mean, basically these are the details, and in this way you can go and test the Hermes dashboard, which I think it's a good thing that will help you see some of the details in there. For me, I will not let it running all the time. I will just start it when I need it. Also, the agent can be asked to start it when you want to use it and stop it. So yeah, this is the new Hermes dashboard. I hope you enjoyed the video. In case you like what you have seen, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to add something, please go and drop a comment down below.